Hey Scotty, how you doing?
Doing well, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Can you just talk about the challenge that John Morant presents now in his second year?
He's a problem. He's definitely as dynamic as any of the point guards in this league. Gets to the paint, puts so much pressure on you in transition. Good shooter, drives either way. He just has this interesting finish around the rim, like the little finger roll, kind of gets it off before the big can help out and contest it. He's a terrific talent. And from what I see and read, and he's obviously a great young leader for their team. And he's the head of the snake that we have to make sure that we can get back in transition and bottle him up as best that we can.
Brad. Scott, I'm going to shock you right now and ask
Yeah,
you.
same starters.
Same starters. I don't know if you can comment on it yet, but the news about two-way, the change with two-way contracts this year, does that affect at all the way that I know you're starting him already, but does that give you any more kind of leeway in just being able to use Garrison and not have to worry about, limit any of that?
Yeah, I wasn't real concerned with it recently. In the beginning of the year, yeah, that was a little bit of because we had 22 other games that we had to manage there. But now it's great. It's great for the players. Anytime you can put something that's going to benefit opportunity for players, I'm all for it. Guys like Garrison has earned this opportunity, and through the hard work and grit and determination and all the great characteristics that it takes to make it in the role that he has, or not being drafted. But it definitely, I think it's great. I don't know if it's official yet, but I hope it is.
Chase.
Scott, what's it like? What's it been like this year as you guys try to continue with player development of guys who aren't in your rotation, considering the limitations on practice and shoot arounds?
Well, I think that our performance team, our assistant coaches, do a great job of keeping guys engaged and playing on all off days before games, and playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and even if you have coaches, throwing a couple of coaches in there to get 4-on-4. Sometimes on the road, 5-on-5 with more coaches, full court. And you have to do it. You can't just say, we're not practicing, because it's hard to practice. Especially, the last month we wanted games, we got them. And, I don't know, 16 games in the 28 days. So there's not a lot of practice time in between. And when we did have a practice, it was just basically a walkthrough and some film work and some walkthrough stuff. But yeah, you still have to develop. You still have to get guys better, and give our guys a lot of credit. Bonga was another prime example. Troy was prior to that. Come in and the conditioning is always the concern, but they've done a good job with our group to stay in shape and be ready. You can't perform if you're not in the shape and you're not ready and not touching the basketball and continue to stay focused and sharp. And
Hey, Taylor. Quick question. One, any changes with the starting lineup? And two, any update on Grayson, how he's progressing through the concussion protocol at this point?
Yeah, I'll start with the second half of that, Evan. Grayson's doing really well. They have these concussion scores that, guys get monitored on every single day. Continues to go down, which is great. Got to get back to his baseline, but he's progressing really well. All the different steps that you got to take in the concussion protocol, he's doing a really good job in that right now. So happy to hear that news. And then Kyle's officially going to be out tonight with a little respiratory illness. So we just wanted to kind of play that safe, and he'll be out tonight. And then VC will step into the starting lineup.
Parker Fleming.
Hey, Coach, when Jonas Valanciunas got in foul trouble the other night, it allowed you to have the opportunity to have a pretty small lineup with John Morant around Dillon Brooks, Justice Winslow, Kyle, and Brandon Clark. Just what do you delight from the returns of that, and just the two-way versatility of those four guys in particular on the court next to Ja?
Yeah, I mean, it was, one of those moments where, JV unfortunately got into foul trouble and, we had to kind of flip our script a little bit. We had talked about it earlier in the game, just with how much small ball Houston plays and how much switching, they present out there. As BC at the 5, something that we might want to explore. That hand kind of got dealt to us and we kind of went with that and obviously, had some really good results. But I think just, the athleticism that those guys have, the versatility and the interchangeability positional wise, BC setting a tone, obviously with his pace and screening and pick and rolls. But it's been great to see, DB and Justice out there together, kind of getting to see what that pairing could look like. Obviously, KA's had a lot of success at the 4. So it was kind of one of those, we prepared for it. We got that opportunity and we, were encouraged by what we saw. So just knowing what the league, puts out there night in, night out, you never know what lineups you're going to face, but we've always been in the back of our mind thinking about what a BC at the 5 lineup could be. Obviously, we've got a ton of confidence in JV and X being our 5s, but BC at the 5 is something that we've wanted to explore and kind of get a little bit more of a sample size. It was a great showing and something that kind of put in the back of our mind moving forward as well.
Terry Davis.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, Terry. How are you?
With 2 games left in the All-Star break, how do you keep your guys focused on one game at a time and not focus on getting to the end of Thursday night and just taking one game at a time and not milling it in and not coming in with no energy?
Yeah, no, I think our guys have great energy. We just focus on just treating every day as normal, not trying to jump too far ahead, and just accepting the challenge that we have in front of us. Obviously, we've got a heck of a Wizards team right now. They're playing extremely well, one of the hottest teams in the league. I think our guys are relishing that opportunity. So, no one's talking about the All-Star break. We're talking about what the schedule is coming up. We know we got 2 tough challenges coming up the rest of the week. And it's a credit to our guys. They know it's go out there and take care of business, home and away, practice days, game days. So it kind of takes care of itself because, these guys do a great job just focused on the day in and day out, focus.
Evan Barnes.
Taylor, with the last game, you guys kind of showed again just kind of how, depth has been a strength for you guys all season. And as the first half kind of winds down, is that kind of something you're take pride in, that the depth is starting to, show up more as guys are getting healthy?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's huge. That's something, obviously, when we start off the season, we knew we were not going to have our full depth and our full contingent of our roster and have had to kind of mix it up, for the majority of this first half of the season. But, over the last, week plus and going into this final week of the first half of the season, it's very encouraging to see, the different combinations that we're learning about. Obviously, one of the biggest ones is getting Justice back in the lineup and seeing, what his future kind of holds, over the course of the season. But I think he's playing really well. A lot of our rookies have gotten a lot of great opportunities, early in the season. And I think just every opportunity that these guys have been presented, they've taken full advantage of it. And we've gotten a lot of encouraging positive signs, on the development front. So, encouraged to know that we're getting closer to healthy, day by day, week by week. And guys are stepping up into these roles and making the most of it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 199 of the Focus TV. Got a special 200th episode next week for you guys. Follow us on social so you can get a brief insight as to what. As for tonight's show, you guys already know what it is. NBA segment, some G League, some college basketball, some updates from GW, men's and women's, Maryland's women's, 9-4-50 breakdown as always. Got a little rapid fire, which is always interesting. But we're going to kick things off with Raymond with the Washington Wizards.
Oh, man, they're kind of going through it right now. They down 71-56 at the half. It was close for a second, but then the Grizzlies kind of pulled away. The Wizards just started turning the ball over, getting the Grizzlies easy opportunities, getting out on the break. And that's, if it's one thing you don't want to do against Memphis, is turn the ball over. They're averaging 20 points per game off turnovers so far this season. So, that was an opportunity for them to just break the game open. But overall, as we've been talking about on the recap shows, the Wizards, they've been playing really well over this last, let's say, 10-game stretch. I mean, the one thing we have been preaching the whole season is defense, and they've really turned it up on that end, and that's led to their success as of late. We always said we never had any concerns about what they can do offensively. They've proven they can score with anyone, but if you're not getting stops, it really doesn't matter. So So they've turned things around on that end. They just coming off a tough loss on Sunday against Boston, but it was on the heels of a back-to-back. And it was a traveling back-to-back because they had just played at home the night before against Minnesota. So that game, it was a tough one, as kind of to be expected. Guys' legs were a little dead. Rui, he had an uncharacteristically off night. But, they were right there at the end, just had a few comedy of errors going down the stretch, and they end up losing by 1. But, overall, it's not looking as dismal as it did earlier in the season. They've, they kind of built some momentum and are turning things around and looking to make a playoff push. But this game in particular, they really just got to take care of the ball and get a little sharp on the defensive end. In the first half, Memphis shot 57% from the floor, 50% from 3, and 100% from the line. If that continues, there's no way they're going to climb out of this hole. But they've shown the ability to come back in games from large deficits. And given the way they've been playing lately, I got full confidence they can turn around in the second half. They're a different team than we saw early in the season. That's just keeping it 100. They've the body language is different, the effort is different. They're coming into the gym with things that you need to come in with, and that's just effort and playing defense and competing. And I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Davis Bertans' play of late. We were getting on him early in the season when he wasn't producing. So now that he's kind of turning that corner, you got to give him some props, man. He's knocking down shots, and even he's trying to play some defense lately. It's a good thing to see. But overall, I think the Wiz are in a good place moving forward. Hopefully they can kind of get things turned around this game, and we'll just see how the second half goes.
All right, Cardell, what's the latest with the G League?
Man, Erie Bayhawks. They got blitzed earlier today. They got blitzed early and often. Their 121-91 loss to the Santa Cruz Warriors. The Warriors scored 41 points in the first quarter, and from there, they wasn't challenged pretty much ever again. Warriors 6'7" guard Axel Tupain scored 16 of his 22 points in the first quarter to lead the charge for Santa Cruz. The Bayhawks saw themselves down 30 at the half, 70-40. Santa Cruz got what they want offensively, shooting 52.8% from the field, 42.1% from 3, while only turning it over 10 times. They totaled 33 assists, outscored the Bayhawks 56-34 in the paint, dominated area and fast break points 23-5, and Santa Cruz bench outscored the Bayhawks bench 50-28. In comparison, Aries shot 39% from the field and 28% from deep and turned it over 19 times. There you have it. That's game right there. Ain't much more to add to that. Jalen Adams led the Bayhawks with the team high 20 points on 8 of 15 shooting. Lee Childs added 18 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists on 6 of 12 shooting. And Cassius Winston posted 12 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. Guard Jacob Evans scored a game high 24 points, grabbed 7 rebounds on 9 of 12 shooting from the field. As I said before, Tupain, along with his 22 points, added 7 rebounds and 3 assists. And 6'10" forward Alex, I'm not even going to try, Alex X posted a near triple-double with 13 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Alex, he been getting killed lately for his play. Last year he showed promise. He's been under G League since they drafted Wiseman, and Looney came. Looney pretty much got re-signed or whatnot, so they don't have a lot of front court depth. And they haven't been pleased with his up and down play, at the G League. So posting a triple-double was right on time. Up next, the Bayhawks take on the Oklahoma City Blue on Thursday, March 4th. Tip is set for 7 p.m. And the Santa Cruz Warriors square off with the Rio Grande Valley Vipers on Friday, March 5th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern at the HP Fieldhouse. This is the last week of the G League. It concludes March 7th and playoffs begin. And both teams, the Santa Cruz and Bayhawks, are tied at 10-3. Remember last show, Bayhawks they already clinched the playoff berth, but they were the top team in the G League. Now they have some company, so they've been losing kind of ugly as of late. I know Jordan Bell and those guys haven't been playing, but they're going to have to figure something out because teams are starting to catch up to what they do. And, you know, for the type of season they had, it'd be a shame for them to go out early.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that'd be a heck of a way to go after starting that strong. I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, GW men's and women's basketball and Maryland women's. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, the college segment is here. George Washington men's and women's basketball. Cardell, the floor is yours.
I guess it's been a blowout weekend. Let's just call it that. The Colonials, the men's side, you know, they were just ran over by St. Bonaventure by 47, 88-41. The Bounties played some tough defense with 16 center. Yeah, A10 shot blocking leader, Osunidi, having a Rudy Gobert type impact on the game defensively for the Bounties. They held GW to a season low 21 first half points, while they torched GW from deep with 8 of their season high 15 3-pointers coming in the first half. The Bounties held GW to 32% shooting from the field and 15%, 2 of 13 shooting from 3-point range. GW were out rebounded 35-23. Held to only 7 assists for the game and turned it over 13 times. The Bounties' largest lead was 49 late in the second half. Jameson Battle led GW with 10 points and 3 rebounds. GW and A10 leading scorer James Bishop was held to 6 points on 2 of 7 shooting. Bounties guard Jaron Holmes posted a game high 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Alondro Vasquez scored 18 points on 6 of 10 shooting from the field and 5 of 8 shooting from deep off the bench. With the win, St. Bonaventure secured the top seed in the A10 men's basketball championship tournament set to begin tomorrow with 12 seed LaSalle taking on 13 seed St. Joseph at 11 a.m. While 11 seed GW will take on 14 seed Fordham at 2 p.m. You know, I have coverage of GW Fordham and we'll keep a close eye on the rest of the field as well. On the GW women's side, they cruised. They cruised with 68-39 win over George Mason Sunday, improving to 8-12 overall, while Mason fell to 3-18. GW held George Mason to 15 points in the first half, 22 points through 3 quarters, and only allowed 10 points combined from the Patriots starting 5. GW held George Mason to 31% shooting from the field, 13% shooting from deep, and forced 24 turnovers thanks in large part to 15 steals. It was a thorough Joe Jackson old-fashioned ass whooping. Sum it up perfectly. Colonials were next on 11-3 Fordham this Thursday at 5 p.m. to close out the regular season and will face George Mason in the first round of the A10 Women's Basketball Championship as the 11th seed March 10th at 4 p.m. on ESPN Plus. I'll have coverage of the ladies as well.
That's the old-fashioned Joe Jackson. Maryland women's. They've been busy since the last time we spoke. They made history in their win over Purdue, but it wasn't history in favor of Maryland. It was history in a negative way in favor of the Boilermakers. Maryland won 88-59. It ended up being the largest home loss to a Big Ten team in school history for Purdue. Leading the way for Maryland was Angel Reese with 17 points, 9 rebounds. Mimi Collins and Ashley Owusu chipped in with 13 apiece. On Sunday, Maryland got a hard-earned victory over Northwestern, 62-50. All right, Maryland leads the country in scoring between 94 and 96 points a game. Again, this game they won 62-50. Northwestern did their best to keep Maryland from getting out of running, making them play a slower-paced game. Mimi Collins was huge in this one. She had 18 points and 10 rebounds to lead the Terps. Diamond Miller also had a double-double with 17 and 10. Despite the significantly slower pace, Maryland nearly led wire to wire. They got the lead 12 seconds in, and they didn't relinquish it. Veronica Burton had 15 for the Wildcats, and so did Lindsey Pulliam. And Lindsey Pulliam had 13. Up next for the Terps, they face Michigan, and that's a makeup game from February 7th. With the win, the Terps can clinch a share of the Big Ten title, or they can clinch a share earlier if Indiana loses to Iowa on Wednesday. It was a really strong week from Diamond Miller. She averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2.7 assists while shooting 54% from the floor and 58% from three. She was the Big Ten Honor Roll Player of the Week. Also, congrats again to Ashley Owusu. She was named a finalist for the Ann Myers Drysdale Award. It's the 4th year of this award, and it's to recognize the top shooting guard in Division I women's basketball. The other 4 finalists are Chelsea Dungy from Arkansas, Dana Evans of Louisville, Arella Guaratis of Rutgers, and Zaya Cook from South Carolina. So again, congrats to Ashley Owusu for being named to another awards list. The 9-4-50 breakdown this week. It's a breakdown of a pound side step and pickup side step. Again, it's a breakdown of a pound side step and pickup side step, and that'll be followed by our second break. And when we get back, we'll see what Cardell has for us in terms of rapid fire. You're watching the Focus TV.
Different side steps, the 2 main ones, the pound side step and the pickup side step. So I'm gonna start with my right hand here. So regular pound side step, just a simple pound dribble, step to the side. Same thing with the left hand, step to the side. Now, a couple things you want to do with that. Make sure you snatch the ball away. So ball's in the right hand, pound side step to the right side. Away to the right side. Same thing with the left hand. Away. Now, off of combo mode. It's a little different, okay? So, here, pick up. So, a pickup side step. So, I can be here, up. Difference is, there's no pound. So, I'm going in the sweep. Up, still moving to the side. Same thing if I go to my right. Up. Today we're going to do a breakdown of 2 different side steps, the 2 main ones. The pound side step and the pickup side step. So I'm gonna start with my right hand here. So regular pound side step, just a simple pound dribble, step to the side. Same thing with the left hand, step to the side. Now, a couple things you want to do with that. Make sure you snatch the ball away. So ball's in the right hand, pound side step to the right side. Snatch your way to the right side. Same thing with the left hand. Away. Now, off of combo mode. It's a little different, okay? So, here, pick up. So, a pickup side step. So, I can be here, up. Difference is, there's no pound. So, I'm going in the sweep. Up, still moving to the side. Same thing if I go to my right. Up.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. As always, I want to give a special thanks to Jamal Hayward for knocking out the 9-4-50 breakdown each and every week. Hope you guys enjoyed and got something from it this week. Once again, Cardell, the floor is yours. And I already know it's going to be some wild questions because sports, y'all been acting wild this whole last 7 days.
I'm gonna start with something kind of simple right now. J.J. Watt signed a 2-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals. I know you like that, Wilson. He picked the Cardinals on Monday from a group of 4 or 5 finalists after an aggressive recruitment by Arizona. Watt said it was certainly close when making his final decision, which he described as difficult. He said, "I give them credit. They attacked from all angles. There was, I think, general manager Steve Kim and owner Michael Bidwell. And everybody did a great job of, there were players, there were coaches, there were non-football people whatsoever that reached out and were in my ear trying to convince me to come down here and tell me all the great things about it. And not only on the field, but send me pictures of Paradise Valley and everything off the field as well." What does this mean for the NFC West and Arizona's chances at possibly making a Super Bowl run? We're going to start with you, Octavia.
It's kind of funny because we were talking earlier about, I know last week when we talked about how Russell is tired of getting hit and just add somebody else to the division that's coming after to hit Russell again. But I like the way he spent it. I feel like it's a really hard decision and everything, but I would like to know who the other 4 teams were, but apparently, just from the things that he's tweeted out and said, one of the biggest reasons he decided on Arizona was because of Kyler Murray and his potential that he sees in him. Outside of course, Deshaun Watson, you can't really think of too many top tier quarterbacks that JJ's played with. So that's probably a great sign for him. But I'm just glad he's not in the NFC East, to be completely honest. He can go out there in the West and do whatever he wants. Just stay out there. At one point I thought there was a possibility that all 3 Watt brothers would be in Pittsburgh. That didn't happen. But yeah, it sucks to be in the NFC West again.
Wilson.
So I don't believe you, Mr. Watt. There were not 3 other choices. You knew where you were going. I don't know. Since last year, let's stop it. Let's not do this. I'm not going to name the other 3 sorry excuses that you want us to wish to believe and accept that they were really logical things. We all know for that you couldn't wait to go to a defense where you could just be a piece. You could dominate, but it didn't have to all be on you. You know that. So I'm not to be rude. I could kind of see the Myles Garrett thing, but at the end of the day, no disrespect, Cleveland. It's Cleveland. There's Chandler Jones over there in Arizona. You got Buda Baker on the back end. If they retain Hassan Reddick, this is one of the most versatile, annoying defensive fronts and has been for the last 4 to 5 seasons, regardless of who's there. And I think that's the biggest thing is, he's still JJ Watt. Man, Chandler Jones puts so much pressure on people. It's going to be hard for people to JJ's not going to see the same type of attention he's seen most of his career. And you can choose to double JJ and let Chandler go crazy, but I know people love numbers. That doesn't work out too well. Chandler's one of the best pass rushers in the league, man. But it made too much sense to me. I go somewhere, it's not all on me. If I have a big game, that's cool. Secondly, aren't you tired of getting double teamed? Arizona even have a hard sell. I know DeAndre was like, "Hey, yo, come on over." First class organization. It's hot all the time. It's not the Texans. It's not the Texans. It's not the Texans. It's not the Texans. We got a good quarterback, and we got fun stuff on defense. Come on over. Nothing but one-on-ones. Come on, man. But that's cute, JJ, that there were really other teams. I don't believe you, dude.
Raymond.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, dog.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, now I was saying I feel like this was a pretty easy decision for him. He walked into a good situation, like Wilson said. He pick your poison, man. And I don't think anybody's gonna willfully neglect Chandler Jones. I think Chandler Jones is gonna get the full attention that he deserves from every single team, as he should. And then you're just gonna have to live with what JJ does. So yeah, man, all this that he's trying to put on it, this wasn't a hard sell. You know, and especially with a former teammate over there, somebody that he knows and trusts can kind of give him the inside scoop on what he's walking into, on top of what the strides Arizona's made recently. You know, yeah, this was a no-brainer, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, I know Russell Wilson's kind of like, yeah, get me out of here, because that's 6 games where he's going to be under tremendous pressure. So yeah, good move, JJ. Smart guy. You know, way to walk into a nice situation without putting too much stress on yourself. Probably added a couple years to his career, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay
We'll
out there
move
with us.
on. Howard University head football coach Larry Scott turned down an offer to join Alabama as an assistant coach and opted instead to finish the work he had started at Howard. His statement was, it was more going back to my why and the purpose for even taking on the opportunity. Scott said it was a chance to run the program and be a head coach. We hadn't begun to do anything. We hadn't played a game. At that time, we hadn't had a practice for me and who I am and why I do what I do. It's more important for me to stay. What are your thoughts on a coach of any caliber, but a black coach opting to stay at HBCU instead of going to the NFL breeding ground that is Alabama? We'll start with you again, Octavia.
I mean, I think it's admirable. You know, it's hard for anybody to kind of dictate what somebody thinks their career path should be in the league. But I definitely think it's admirable for in a place where a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people won't stay and finish what they believe that they started at one institution and opting out to not go to another one. Can I say it's a great choice? Yes. I don't know how it is for his career as a coach, just because we know what type of things happen down there in Alabama. So I'm sure he's going to miss out on some great knowledge possibly. But again, you know, you can't hate on somebody for wanting to make their own path and you know, navigate their career how they see fit. So I definitely think it's admirable, especially because not a lot of black coaches get their just due, as we know. And it's kind of saying, like, why would I want to leave somewhere where I'm in charge of everything to go down there and be, you know, somebody's coach and they listen to me? Never. You know, so you never know what the situation could really be, but I think it's admirable for him to stay at a HBCU, especially, you know how much I love HBCUs, and stay there and finish what he started.
All right, Raymond.
Yeah, man, and when people make decisions like this, I stay away from, you know, dictating whether it's right or wrong. You know, if he's happy and content with his decision, then it was the right decision for him. You know, so and like Octavia said, it's definitely admirable to you know, to kind of you know, stay where your roots are and you know, and turn down a opportunity like, you know, coaching at Alabama or a comparable school. You know, especially with you know, with all the talk about trying to drive high caliber athletes towards HBCUs. But again, like Octavia said, I don't, in terms of, you know, where his career goes after this, if we're being honest here, you know, I don't, not taking that job might derail him unless something miraculous happens, you know, here at Howard. But yeah, man, that's like you said, it's an NFL breeding ground, you know, for players and coaches. So it's catch-22. But like I said, man, as long as he's happy and content, I don't see why I should have too much to say on it, regardless. So yeah, man, hope it works out for him. Wish him the best, and good luck.
Wilson.
Yeah, pretty much same sentiments as everybody else. You know, if he's talking about what his why is and knowing what his why is, and that's what led him to choose Howard, shout out to him. Those kids are lucky, and I hope they take advantage of that opportunity that they have him on board. The other thing is, like Montavious said, and I think Ray mentioned as well, the opportunity to do things like literally have full control over a program. We know how hard that is these days, cross sports on any level, on collegiate professional ranks. So yeah, I just commend him. I wish him the best. And I also I don't feel like it's something where because he declined out Bama, that door to Bama was automatically closed from here on out. Clearly he closed it at this moment, but yeah, shout out to him for his decision.
Okay. Next question that I'm sure will create a lot of conversation. A report from The Athletic says that several Atlanta Hawks players told management they want to Lloyd Pierce fired. Hawks star Trae Young had to disconnect with Lloyd Pierce from Atlanta fired yesterday. But Young was hardly alone among Hawks players who took issue with Pierce, according to the report. John Collins and Cam Reddish also got named in the piece on, Pierce being let go by Chris Kirshner, Sam Amick, and David Aldridge of The Athletic. Sources say player support beyond Young was dwindling at the end, with several sharing their desire for a change with management recently. The lack of faith in Pierce from the players quickly eroded last year, with several on the team feeling like they could not approach him without leaving the conversation, feeling like they weren't being heard. There's no telling when he lost, and one source close to the team said he didn't have support from many people. It came down to him not being able to manage egos. That's what did him in, especially these young guys. It's tough. Pierce had a difficult job. Young is the young star who dominates the ball mostly for good reason, but we all know how suspect his defense is, and that's putting it great, giving him a compliment, honestly. That can rub his teammates the wrong way. Pierce had to hold Young accountable without alienating Young while getting the complimentary Hawks to buy in. Obviously, winning cures most ills, but Atlanta's roster wasn't all that it was cracked up to be so far, so victories were harder to come by. Just what are your thoughts on the whole situation, if this report is true? We all know these days a lot of reports can be suspect because the source can be the popcorn vendor, you know what I mean? But regardless, he got let go, so something was there. Just what are your thoughts if this report is true that several of the Hawks players went to management and told them they wanted Pierce fired? We'll start with you again, Octavia.
It's hard for me just because it's like on one side, I want to say you kind of want to give the Hawks organization some type of props because a lot of times front office don't even listen to their players. So on one side, I want to say like at least they listened to them and took their concerns seriously. But on the other side, like I need to know more. Like it's hard for me to kind of get like a deep conversation about it because like I need to know like what really was, because like, and it's just crazy to me that it's always these reports about Black coaches though. Like we never hear about all the strife and the heartache and stuff that all these other coaches go through. But as soon as it comes down to this, and it's like, I mean, of course the players are going to be mad. They're losing. They're not playing that well. So I get it, but I don't really like it. Like I don't like how it just doesn't smell right. Like something's just off to me in the report. So I would be interested to know like how this is really working out.
Raymond.
Yeah, man, I'm looking sideways at this for real, because if the players weren't happy with him, then so be it. But there've been coaches where they have verified tense relationship with players that haven't been let go. So I wonder what made this situation different. And it does suck for Pierce. I mean, Atlanta, they had high expectations coming into the season. They made a lot of acquisitions player wise in the offseason, but injuries hit them hard, and they haven't been able to go back with their full roster for bulk of the season. And you know, this was kind of the rebuild stage, and he doesn't even get to see it out. But yeah, man, if players went to management and just kind of circumnavigated him to get him out of there, that says something in itself. Like, you know, and then they said, you know, last year they felt like when they would go to him, they couldn't be heard. You know, that's fine. But, you know, if that's the message that's being brought to management and they don't circle back with Pierce, like, hey, man, this is the feedback I'm getting from your players, and they just fire him. I don't know if that's exactly how it went, but that's what it sounds like. Then, you know, that's not even giving the guy a chance. You know, how do we know that he's aware of if this is how his players are feeling? So I don't know, man. It just seems like Octavia said, you know, black coaches don't get nearly the same amount of rope that you know, that white coaches get. And I don't know, man. It just sucks all around. Sucks for him to get fired in the midst of Atlanta trying to, you know, get back to a higher level of play. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's really weird, but you know, it is what it is at this point. Nate McMillan is gonna have to guide this ship for the rest of the season. You know, hopefully he can turn things around. But I mean, this does kind of suck for Pearson. It's weird because he's coached in this league before and seem to have this issue with you know, with the other teams he's with. You know, unless I'm missing something, but it is what it is, man. He's been let go, and Atlanta Hawks just got to move forward.
Wilson.
Yeah, I'm not too shocked, but I think the biggest word here is accountability and just the lack of it. No disrespect to the Hawks players. Y'all are too young. Y'all haven't accomplished anything. You haven't done anything at all remotely. I'm talking about from the top of the roster all the way to the bottom to be talking like this. The fact that the Hornets arguably could be better than y'all, that's on y'all. They're in like it's laughable. It's disgusting. And yeah, if you didn't get along with the coach or what have you, you know, handle, like, you can bring it up to management and that's fine. And then hoop. It's a players' league. Like, you might have gotten your desired outcome just by, I don't know, showing up and doing your job. But now here goes the tough part, Hawks players, because this is the stance, and whoever chose, if this reports are true, and y'all were cavalier enough to have your names attached to this, if it's not erroneous report, hey man, it's a target on y'all's back going forward. If y'all don't get it done after he leaves, then that's not only one black coach, that's two black coaches you about to get there, because y'all didn't do what you were supposed to do. We already know what it is in terms of black coaches not having the same amount of leeway to fail as their white counterparts. We already know what that is. And that said, again, it's a players' league. I'm holding y'all accountable the rest of the way. Y'all better make a run to make a championship run. You gotta end up in the top 4 of the East. Something great better happen after getting this man out of here. I don't see any of this stuff changing, but again, I think what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna go back to being Atlanta. Some people are gonna be here. Some people aren't gonna be here because y'all got a whole accountability issue. None of you are good enough to be talking like this at all. Like, it is so crazy to me. Like, y'all are living off what you could be, and you didn't even do half the work to get there. You should not be where you are currently, regardless of the coach. And that's the other thing. If everybody does their job, and you hoop and you do everything, then we can see the limitations of the coach. You might have people on your side, but this ain't it.
It's reflective of where we are in society and definitely in the NBA. It's a lot of like Wilson said, lack of accountability, and it's a lot of entitlement. You know, I'm totally on board. I'm like, you know, what has any of these players done where management need to come down and consult them? You know, and if the report is true that they went to the coach and they felt like they weren't being heard, there's a reason for that. Y'all don't know enough. You feel me? I mean, what can y'all really tell the coach? I mean, what? I mean, And I saw a press conference a few weeks ago where he was frustrated. A reporter asked him about what did he mean about defensively making guys feel them, or making other teams feel the Hawks players defensively, and he broke it down to a T what great all around defense is. He broke it down to a T, man. And the fact that he did that tells me that's the end that really kept them from getting over the top. They didn't buy into that end, which very few players do. Because guess what? I don't know. Defense is hard work. It's gonna wear you out. You're gonna be hurt. You're gonna be sore. But it helps you win games. And isn't that what it's about? But these dudes got plenty of energy to take step back, 30-footers, can't shooting 10% from three. Don't pass the ball. Or you just see a whole lot of bad play all throughout the league, man. You see what I'm saying? It just makes no sense. And one thing I'm starting to get more and more irritated about with the league is these players, they're quick behind the scenes to go to get coaches up out of there, especially black coaches, but they're not as quick to stand up for them. You feel what I'm saying? First year, Roy, he's been there. All right, if he'd have finished this year, it'd have been 3 total years. First year he came there, they had nothing. Last year, Trae Young, they draft Trae Young or whatnot. The bubble happens and stuff like that. They drafted Trae Young 2 years ago. He comes, but he's a rookie. He got to learn. Last year, momentum, the bubble happened, COVID, watch that. This year, they finally starting to build it up. John Collins, they bring in Capella. Guys are starting, should be trying to develop. I feel like you got to give a coach time to develop these young guys so they can be on par so y'all can start winning games. That takes time. I don't understand the front office just, and it's not just Atlanta, it's across the league where they expect things to change like that, like it's a business deal. It don't work like that. These guys got to buy in. They got to get used to playing with one another. You brought in a big free agent, Clint Capella. Guys got to get used to that. Guys got to get better. You know what I mean? Cam Reddish, he was in the same draft. He hasn't gotten better. Potential. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was enamored with his talent and all that. The one thing I always felt like he did ever since high school, the talent was never in question. It was his drive. He left a lot to be desired a lot of times when I saw him in high school. You know what I'm saying? And people ignore that because they fall in love with the talent, the size, and the skill, but it don't buy it. So I'm real shocked that his name is in that report if it is true. Like, Slim, like, how you even get a conversation? I mean, I just don't get it. DeAndre Hunter, he got banged up. He got hurt. That's what really hurt him from early in the season because they was winning games before. That hurt him. And let's not let management off the hook. Let's be real. Luka's putting a lot of pressure on those dudes because Luka killing. And he got Dallas in the playoffs mates and stuff like that. And it's like, yo, I mean, y'all traded the pick. You see what I'm saying? Y'all traded the pick to go down and get Trae. Y'all could have had Luka. Then on top of that, early in the season, they dangled John Collins out for trade bait. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, that's when a whole slide happened. I'm like, why would y'all do that with that young dude? That young dude on the verge, he's talented as hell. He's nice. Mm-hmm. And y'all just threw him out there for no reason. And then, somebody leaked it, so somebody was sloppy with it, trying to ship him and stuff, and for no reason. You got a young core, build that. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to get a superstar good enough to come to Atlanta that's worth giving up those valuable young pieces like that, some draft picks. They're not coming to Atlanta, y'all. They weren't even looking that way. They come there in the summer, do some things, extracurricular activities we're not going to get into, but they're not coming there to play unless y'all good. So I just feel like this was just – I feel like this was to take the heat off everybody. Obviously, he's a head coach. He deserves some blame for that, but I feel like he's the least of it. I feel like the players in front office deserve most of it. And shout out to Nate Millen for being a real one because he turned it down at first. But Pierce, being a good dude he is, talked him back into it. Like, nah, go do that. Because I'm pretty sure he's fully aware brothers don't get these opportunities like that. Go ahead, get winning. Hopefully y'all can start winning. Go build them up. And the reason why Nate Millen, he didn't really say it in so many words, but you can read between the lines. The reason why he was hesitant to take it because he just wasn't on board. Like, why did y'all fire him? That don't make any sense. And fire him after a practice, dog. And then a day after Black History Month, man. Like the time, y'all, it was all strategic. Y'all didn't want that Minnesota backlash. That's all that was. It's just disgusting, man. It's irritating. I'm trying not to get us in trouble, man. I'm tired of these players, man. Like, man, listen, it can't be when y'all win, it's y'all greatness and y'all genius and all that, but when y'all losing, it's everybody else. Nah, y'all just trash. Let's call it what it is. Y'all just trash. Y'all not a good team. So the players need to start stepping up and stuff and helping these coaches. Because if you're a real one, look, if a coach get fired on my watch, this man can't feed his family or something like that because I didn't do my job. I take that personal. You feel what I'm saying? And now y'all don't have, like we'll say, y'all don't have no grace period anymore. See, now the spotlight on y'all. So if y'all don't hoop, y'all gonna be traded. Y'all gonna get up out of there. Some new coach gonna come in there. Nah, y'all been here too long. I'm gonna bring in my players. And it ain't so cute when y'all on the other side getting traded and stuff, because when you getting traded for a reason, it don't feel good. So now you gotta up to the new coach, to the new team, all the while trying to still prove yourself in the league. Man, that whole situation sloppy, man. It just
hold up, man.
I don't
Draymond
even
said you
notice
can't trade
none of the
players.
vets said anything. And none. Which mean that you can't trade players? Oh, that little one, his outburst.
Nah, Draymond said, yeah, it's not okay to talk about trading players.
Did you see the Lakers game the other night? I'll leave that alone. They need to get back to practice. Anyway, look here, man. It's okay to trade players. They not performing. That's what happens when you don't perform on your job. You get fired. You get let go, right? I'm just saying, real world. You don't do your job, you get fired, right? We're gonna leave it there, man. But they just spotlight definitely on them. I'm looking at them. Because you got this Trae Young coach that want to always compete with, make him compete with Luka, and it's like, dog, ain't no competing with that. That's Larry Bird Jr. Dog, he cold. Leave that alone. Just try to look. Just because you like Trae better than him and it ain't looking good now, don't even make it a competition thing. But he got ways to go, man. Because right now, yeah, he putting up 26 a game and stuff, but it's inefficient. He's small. He don't play no defense. It compromises the team. He got to get better. It's simple as that. And it starts with him. He the star. He the leader. You got to look at him, man.
Like you said, the biggest thing is you feeling the pressure. Usually it takes what they say takes at least 3 years before you can start evaluating draft classes and sports. We ain't close, and you already mentioned Luka's ahead of the curve on that. You seeing some of the kids from this year came in already hitting the ground running. Right, it's not a good look, and that's what I'm saying. Just for the Hawks as a whole, that whole group of young players. Mr. Collins, I wish you the best. I hope you survive this trade deadline. Mind you, your value just went down. The original thing when they put you on the block and they fumbled that. Now you got the whole possible uprising with taking the coach out thing. I wish you the best, sir. Like, it's gonna get real. Like, the owners, we already know what accountability is like, what it's supposed to be from the top down. We know upper management barely has it. And like you said, what did they do here? They could have been like, you know what, this is on us. Pierce, you got the year. Figure it out. Give us some time. Let's figure out what you need. Instead, it was like, we ain't do it. You go. It's not on us. So players, think about this. If one of the people's already out the equation, who do you think's next?
Go ahead. Bro,
Nah, go ahead.
What has the Wizards been saying the entire time? No, sir. They can't even practice this year because of COVID. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't even get in the gym and try to correct things. You basically having film sessions and shoot arounds when you get to the arena before the game. That's all they can do for most of this year.
Yeah.
How in the hell, as a coach, what can you do as a coach to correct that? You're not even giving these guys a fair chance. Like, this year for me, college and NBA, I'm not tripping on the coaching, man, because this is a effed up time. Like, all the way through, man. All levels of basketball. It's sports, period. It's an effed up time, man. You know, if you win, look, kudos to you, but I'm not holding guys to the same standard because you can't get better. You can't even get in the gym without a scare of a COVID test. And Lord knows, don't let somebody test positive. It's a wrap. They shutting the whole thing down. You just stuck in your apartment trying to stay in best condition you can, or wherever you use your house, wherever you staying at. It's not fair. And you fire this man in the middle of the season. Come on, man. But we say this all the time. We talk about this all the time, especially me and you, Wilson. Bad organizations continue to do bad things. It's right on cue.
Bad
Shout out
teams
to
do
my
bad
man
things.
Will Reese. I always want to give him credit for that. Bad teams do bad things. I will remember this for the rest of the God truth. I don't get it. You shouldn't even be here right now. You watching other teams in the East get ahead of you, and you started ahead of them. Do you know how inept you got to be to get caught by any iteration of the New York Knicks?
Oh, the Miami Heat walking the Hawks down. They walking the Hawks down right now. The Miami Heat are walking the Hawks down now without Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I guess. Well, you can't blame Lloyd Pierce because he's not there. Damn, it's tough. I don't
Rondo, like I should have stayed in LA,
right
man.
there.
I can't.
As always, guys, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Oh yeah, you definitely made a bad decision. That place is on fire, not in a good way. But thank y'all for tuning in. As always, don't forget next week, very, very special week. It's 200th episode. It's going to be 2 hours next week. We're going to knock this out 2 hours. 1 hour each with each guest. It's definitely going to be worth it with Mike Jones and Van Johnson. You don't want to miss it. Don't forget, for Wizards fans, we'll check in with you a little bit later tonight with Wizards Outlook. Got G League Rundown twice more this week. Get a little bit of break from the NBA because All-Star Weekend. It's not going to feel like a lot of a break, but I'm going to cherish each and every moment. We know, Sogan Octavia before the show, we already know NFL free agency is coming down the pipe very soon. So, March Madness about to get going. As always, man, busy times. Y'all have a great evening. So for Octavia, Raymond, Cardell, myself, y'all have a great night. See you next week for episode 200.